on August 17th, 2023, the American Express Platinum Card underwent some pretty major changes, and boy, do we need to talk about it. So in today's video, we're going to go over what these changes are in detail, what my raw and unfiltered thoughts are about these changes, and what you can do to continue to get the most amount of value when it comes to American Express Platinum Cards moving forward. And the two most important changes that I want to talk about are, one, the changes to the sign-up bonus, and two, the changes to the authorized user's fee, because those are the two that really impact us as credit card enthusiasts. Before we even get into that, though, I do want to say something that I think we're all thinking, but no one wants to talk about, and that is the rollout of these changes was done very, very poorly. And I think I want to mention that when we look back at what American Express has done in the past, when they have made changes, it's been done very differently than when it was done for these actual changes, which we are going to talk about in a little bit. So if we look back to July 1st of 2021, when American Express changed the annual fee from $550 to $695, there was actually an announcement that let people know in advance, hey, you know, that sign-up bonus is changing on the date of July 1st, 2021. But this one didn't do that at all. Same thing when you look at the previous change to the Centurion Lounge access on February 1st of 2023 of this year. They did give us some advance notice about the changes to that guest pass policy, how they'll be charging you $50 per guest, and there's no more free guests unless you have, $75,000 of spend on the Platinum Card or more. But at least you had some time to process those changes. This time around, when they made these changes, it was, you woke up on August 17th and you looked on the internet and you saw that everything was changed about your Platinum Card. And that's not great in the sense that you should give your users of your credit card some advance notice when you're going to make changes as big as these. And I think American Express was trying to kind of pull a fast one over us, but luckily there's a lot of us in the credit card community that actually can talk to you about what these changes are and what they really mean. And so that's my very short rant about what just happened with these major changes, but I do want to get into the next topic, which is going to be changes to the sign-up bonus, which I think is the most important change of all of these changes to the Platinum Card. Now, the reason why I say that the changes to the sign-up bonus are the most important to talk about is because, as we all know, as credit card enthusiasts, the sign-up bonus is the best way to get the most amount of value from your credit cards, and this is especially true for the Amex Platinum Card, given its very high sign-up bonus offers. And so there were two major changes to the sign-up bonus in particular. I would say one is less important as the other. Let's start with the less important one first. And so that one is that the standard sign-up bonus minimum spend requirement has been raised from $6,000 in 6 months to $8,000 in 6 months. And I say it's a minor change only because when you're looking at the Platinum Card at the $695 annual fee level, a $2,000 spend requirement increase in 6 months is not really the biggest deal. But I will say that if you're not careful and you don't watch yourself, you may see that sign-up bonus eventually go to $10,000, $15,000 if you're not careful, because American Express can do whatever they want, and it looks like they just wanted to change the level of spending. But again, that's a minor change. You just got to keep an eye on it, and that's something to be looked at very closely. But the more important change is actually to the sign-up bonus rules, terms, and conditions. And that has to do with the fact that American Express Platinum used to be different cards. You used to have 3 different versions of the personal card. So you had the American Express Classic Platinum, you had the Morgan Stanley Platinum, and you had the Schwab Platinum. And each of these cards, you could actually get their own individual sign-up bonus on each card, and each of the terms were specific to their own card, not interfering with one another. But with this new update, that has changed everything. So if we look at the actual sign-up bonus terms and conditions on the Classic Platinum Card, it now reads, you may not be eligible to receive a welcome offer if you have or have had this card, the Platinum Card from American Express exclusively for Morgan Stanley, the Platinum Card from American Express exclusively for Charles Schwab, or previous versions of this card. So what that means is if you have had no Platinum cards, then that's okay. You can apply for the Platinum and not have to worry about it. But if you went for the Schwab Platinum or the Morgan Stanley Platinum first, now you're in a pickle and you can no longer get the sign-up bonus for the Platinum Card. Now, it does say you may not be eligible, but what this does is that now they give American Express the opportunity to deny you for a sign-up bonus yet again. So I would still take it as you are not eligible to receive the welcome offer, even though it says you may, it's not something I would just take as, oh, you may or may not. I think that you should just take this as fact, as that you probably should not apply for the Morgan Stanley Platinum or Schwab Platinum first to risk not getting the sign-up bonus on the Classic Platinum Card. And so there's also, interestingly, about the sign-up bonus offers on the other cards. Again, like I mentioned before, the terms and conditions are specific to each individual card. So for the Schwab Platinum, actually, when you look at the terms and conditions of that particular card, it still reads, you may not be eligible to receive a welcome offer if you have or have had this card or previous versions of this card. So in no area of the Schwab Platinum's terms and conditions do you see that the Classic Platinum or having the Classic Platinum will prohibit you from getting the sign-up bonus on the Schwab Platinum. So that's really good. And some people have mentioned, okay, maybe they haven't updated their terms and conditions yet, and that's a possibility. But as it stands right now, if you apply for the card and the terms and conditions say that there's nothing to do with the Classic Platinum, they can't use that against you to forbid you from not having the Charles Schwab Platinum sign-up bonus. Likewise, on the Morgan Stanley Platinum version of this card, it actually, if you look at the terms and conditions very closely, there actually isn't even a no lifetime language clause. And so, but what's important to bring from that kind of analysis and looking at that terms and conditions is that there's no mention of having the Schwab Platinum or the Classic Platinum. Would that prohibit you from getting the Morgan Stanley Platinum sign-up bonus as well? So the reason why this is very important is because you used to be able to apply for any of the 3 platinum cards in any order you choose, and you can still get the sign-up bonus on each one of the 3 cards. And so it's up to you to determine what sequence you want it to go into. But now the sequence matters. And now you have to develop a new strategy to get each of these 3 sign-up bonuses. And so with these new rules in place, it is very, very, very important to apply for the Classic Platinum first. If you apply for that Platinum card first, that's okay because now you have had that sign-up bonus on that card. You don't have any cross-matching with the Charles Schwab or Morgan Stanley Platinum versions, and you can continue to get that sign-up bonus on that Classic Platinum card, albeit at that $8,000 minimum spend requirement level. Now, if you go the other way around, like I mentioned before, that would not be a good idea because then you may or may not get the Classic sign-up bonus on the Classic Platinum card. And so be very, very careful about that. But once you get that Classic Platinum card, if you want to go for the Morgan Stanley version or the Schwab version, that's totally up to you. I do have a sequence or a series of videos about how to get the Morgan Stanley Platinum in particular. So if you want to check that out, I'll have a link to that up top in the video here. And the Schwab Platinum is something that's really good also because they have that 1.1 cent per point redemption rate for your membership rewards points. And that's a main reason why people got that card in the first place as well. So I think that's something I want to mention about the sign-up bonuses because the sign-up bonus, again, is the most important part of all of this for us credit card enthusiasts, and for them to kind of sneakily slide in that terms and conditions without telling us in detail. We have to make sure that we know exactly what those terms and conditions say and how we can use that to our advantage. Okay, so the next important change to this American Express Platinum Card is going to be the changes to the authorized user fee. And I first want to start out by saying why you'd want to get an authorized user in the first place. Now, there are 2 types of authorized users on the American Express Platinum Card. There's going to be the one with the annual fee, and there's going to be one without the annual fee. And the one we want to talk about is the one with the annual fee because it comes with nice benefits that we can use to help the authorized user get more benefits. And so those benefits include things like a $100 TSA pre-check at Global Entry Credit. It also has Hilton Gold status, Marriott Gold Elite status, as well as access to FHR hotels, car rental privileges, and other things like that. But I would say the most important reason why people get the authorized user, in my opinion, is going to be access to that Centurion Lounge network. And this is especially true because of the recent changes back in February of this year, where we saw that the free guests went away for most individuals. And so with an authorized user, you could actually have that person that you gave the authorized user card to get into a lounge for free, even if you as a primary cardholder wasn't there to have them go in with you. And if they didn't have that card, it would cost them $50 per entry if you're over 18, $30 if you were under, I think it's 2 to 17 years old. And so that was a reason why you would have the authorized user. There were a lot of strategies that were built around that and also based on the previous annual fee of those authorized users. The way it used to be was that it was $175 for the first 3 authorized users, and then $175 after that as well. So the first 3, $175, maybe $60 per authorized user if you had 3 of them, and then $175 for everyone else. Now, with the new changes, they actually have changed it so that it's $195 for every single authorized user. And of course, if you had no authorized users, that's not really a big deal. But for example, if you had 1 authorized user, it would be a price hike of about $20, so about 11% increase. But the biggest thing is if you were taking advantage of the 3 authorized users for $175, because now instead of paying $175, you're now actually going to pay a lot more than that. Actually, a price hike of about $410, which is a pretty big price increase. And so for that reason, it may not make sense for you anymore to carry all those authorized users, being that each one carries that $195 annual fee. And this is like a big problem because now there's no great alternatives to get into the Centurion Lounge network or Centurion Lounges without paying that guest pass. Now, there is another card that I mentioned earlier called the Morgan Stanley Platinum Card that actually has now gotten a little bit better, not by much, but it's gotten better in the sense that it does give you this free authorized user for the first one. And that's been pretty much the same since it started. It still does that. And every single authorized user after the first one, you get $195 charge per authorized user. And so that's something that's really important to know about the card. I mean, it's a great card in itself. It gets you a $695 engagement bonus every single year. You get that free authorized user, which is now valued at $195 as opposed to $175. And so that's something that you can consider getting if you feel like that card is right for you. And I can't really, I would say, recommend that card at this point, given this really high interest rate environment. There's a lot of factors to get the card, a lot of factors you have to look at, and a lot of accounts you have to open. And I have a really nice series, like I said before, about how to open that card. So the reason why I want to mention the Morgan Stanley Platinum Card is because it's really the last viable option to get some sort of discount on this authorized user annual fee based on these new changes. Okay, so I do want to cover the 2 other changes to the Platinum Card because it is something that we should talk about, although I think it's less as important as the other 2 that were previously mentioned. And the first one's going to be that digital entertainment credit because they are removing Audible from the list of participating providers starting on October 2nd, 2023. And the reason why that's kind of a big deal is because I know a lot of people like Audible as a provider for their credit because it did give you that free title to use every month if you had that Premium Plus membership for $14.95. But unfortunately, that is going away and it's being replaced by the Wall Street Journal, which is another type of newspaper type of credit, just like the New York Times. And so I think that would be something to look into. Now, I did look into the pricing for this, and if you look at actually the website, the bundles that actually are going to be able to be used for the digital entertainment credit on the Platinum Card is going to be 2 bundles, either the Wall Street Journal bundle for $4 every 4 weeks for 1 year, or the Wall Street Digital package for $2 every 4 weeks for 1 year. But if you look after past 1 year, you can see that actually the prices for these are much higher than what you'd expect. So for the bundle, you can see it's $12.50 per week. And for the digital subscription, it's $9.75 per week. And that actually is quite a lot of money. And so I think this digital entertainment credit is actually built for just that 1 year, especially for that discount, because once you get past that 1 year mark, the prices just soar to so much higher levels that I think that even having that Wall Street Journal subscription is not even worth it at that point. And so you can, at least during the first year, pair the Wall Street Journal with some other type of entertainment credit that you already know about. For example, the Hulu, Disney Plus, ESPN Plus credits, as well as the New York Times, Peacock, or Sirius XM. Those are all the services that are available on that digital entertainment credit. And so you could use those if you wanted to. But after year 1, I don't think the prices make sense for the Wall Street Journal. And so just keep that in mind. Those are some things that are happening. The Wall Street Journal credit is available now in October 2nd, 2023. That credit for the Audible subscription will start to fall off. And the last actually change to the Platinum Card is a very minor one. There used to be as I mentioned before, a free authorized user on the Platinum Card. and that used to be called the additional gold card, which was exceedingly confusing for a lot of people. And now they just call it a companion card, which I actually think is a much better name for it. And also they have a new card design, which you can definitely see if you look at the website. It's more of a white kind of card at this point. And so that's interesting, but again, not the biggest deal. The biggest changes to the cards are clearly going to be the sign-up bonus changes, as well as that change to the authorized user fee. Okay, so now that we know all about the changes to the American Express Platinum Card now, let's take a step back and figure out how we can deal with this as credit card enthusiasts and how we should view American Express moving forward. And I think the easiest way to do this is to look at the changes in detail again and figure out what does that actually mean for us as credit card enthusiasts. So the first is going to be the sign-up bonus. Like you mentioned before, the minimum spend requirement has now increased. So what does that mean? Well, it means that American Express has made that sign-up bonus harder to get, right? Now, if you look at the rules for the sign-up bonuses, it makes this card harder to get the welcome offer too. So there's restrictions to the welcome offer. It's not as easy to understand as it used to be. They're adding more red tape to get the sign-up bonus offer because they know that sign-up bonuses are the best way that you as the consumer can get value, and they want to prevent that. And so that's something you want to just make sure you understand. And that's why I think that's the most important part of all of these changes, is because even though the authorized user fee thing is bad, it's not as bad as the sign-up bonus changes, because that's the one that's going to get you the most value comparatively. Now, if you have an authorized user that goes to the lounge all the time without you, that's an exception to the rule that we just talked about. But for the most part, you're going to find more value with that sign-up bonus. Now, because they increase those authorized user fees, like I mentioned before, they're making it harder to get into Centurion lounges. And so that's something with the personal platinum, and we'll kind of go into that more in a little bit. And of course, we have those minor changes, which are taking out the Audible as well as adding Wall Street Journal. I think that's more par for the course. Partners come and go. I don't think that's a big deal to think about. And, I think that renaming or rebranding of that companion card is actually a better name for it, because there's always so much confusion over that additional gold card, because it's not really a gold card. And so I'm glad they did that change for what it's worth. But how are we going to view American Express moving forward? And I kind of alluded to this at the beginning of the video, is that American Express always will change or increase their fees. That's not something new to us. We can see with the annual fee hike to $6.95 from $5.50, and thank goodness that there is no annual fee hike this time around, but it's coming. It's going to come at some point, and it's just not now. It will be later. You also saw that with the Centurion Lounge back in February when they made those rules. It's now more restrictive. So we're pretty much used to having American Express restrict us to what we used to have. So things are getting tighter. And so I think if you take a look at that, we all know as credit card enthusiasts how to maximize credits and benefits. I mean, that's really what we're doing when we look at the sign-up bonuses as well as the authorized users, which is why it's so frustrating that they made these changes with no advance notice. And so when you look at that, you can say to yourself, well, why are they doing that? And the reason why they're doing that is because they're actually targeting you. Well, not you specifically, but you and me as credit card enthusiasts. And so that's the unfortunate part of this, because you look at all of these changes, they're really just affecting the ways you can get value from the credit card itself. So we have to now develop new rules, develop new strategies for ourselves to help each other get to the most get the most value out of this Platinum Card. And that's what I really want to touch up on next, is that it's really important for all of us to stick together and make sure that we keep each other informed about these new changes, also give each other ideas about new credit card strategies and new ideas for us to kind of go around the rules that American Express has put out for us. I mean, they're the bank, and they make the product, so they're welcome to do whatever they want to, but it's up to us to figure out how to get the most amount of value, because not everyone is going to be as into credit cards as we are. But I really wish that American Express was better at releasing this information, because that was a real shock to me. It really just leaves a bad taste in your mouth, and it's not a great thing for a company to do to upset some of their loyal fan base, which I know you and myself are both going to be loyal fan base to American Express, because that they have great great sign-up bonuses and great value, but when they do things like this, it's kind of hard to ignore, and it's a little bit something that, I think that they should improve on in the future. I really think that, as long as you understand the terms and conditions on the cards and you look at what the changes are, you can develop your own personal strategies to help figure out how you're going to navigate this next. There's a lot to unpack here, of course, and there's going to be a lot more discussions moving forward about what to do with these Platinum cards. But those are my raw thoughts on the American Express Platinum Card and the new changes. If you have any comments or concerns or something, just leave them down in the comments below. I'm happy to answer all of them. I love interacting with all of you and making sure that we kind of get to an agreement about what's going on. And I really appreciate you sticking to the end here. And of course, thanks so much, for sticking here. And I will see you all in the next video.